So I think it's really a different type of racing. And I think we can use the experience from last time for this time.
Welcome to the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast. I'm Matthew Pioro. You just heard from current national road race champion Karol-Ann Canuel. She's actually been the champ since 2019. You'll find out exactly what race she was talking about later on. Also, you'll find out in this interview whether Canuel will continue to race beyond 2021. Canuel has been competing since she was 11. She came up through the influential Club Cycliste Damos. She was 5th at the Junior World Championship road race in 2006. She has seen women's road cycling evolve from the final days of races such as le Tour de Grand Montreal and le Tour de PEI to where it is today, a much more professional discipline. I spoke with Canuel in late May. She had just helped her teammate Anna van der Breggen take a stage win and the race overall at the Vuelta a Burgos Féminas. Soon after, Canuel left for altitude to train for the Tokyo Olympics. So have a listen and find out what's in store for this rider who has stood on the podium here in Canada and on the world stage. Karol-Ann Canuel, how has your season been so far?
It's been good. This year, the team is a bit bigger, new name, new sponsor, new girls. I think half the team is new. So it's been a little adaptation at the start of the season, getting to know everybody. But the team is riding really strong this year. We have a lot of wins. So hopefully the sponsors are happy. And personally, it's going well. Training is going well. Racing is going well. So I'm happy with my form so far.
Has there been a particular racing highlight for you in 2021?
Good question. Well, definitely the past 2 weeks I've been racing in northern Spain. We just won the first stage race, WorldTour race, and that was pretty cool. I think the team worked well together, and then Anna was able to finish it up for the team, and that was really, really cool.
Yeah, how would you describe your role on the team at the most recent races?
Yeah, I'm more playing a support role. For me, I love it when I know my teammate can win. I'm happy to just help and sacrifice my own result for the team. I think that's how when we work together, we can achieve a lot. And I know I can have a good result for myself, but if my teammate can win, then it's even better.
And yeah, you've had your team has had some pretty big wins this year. Anna van der Breggen at Vuelta a Burgos and at Flèche Wallonne. So yeah, I guess that speaks to the team and the strengths of all the women riding.
Yeah, also Anna's been winning a lot, but I think half the team has a win so far. So it's really a strong team to be part of.
How does the racing feel right now compared with last year? Last year, there was the compressed season that I think you started racing in July and it continued into the fall. Does this year feel almost normal, closer to normal?
It's funny to think a year ago, we weren't racing at all at this time. So no, it's good. So far, the season's been pretty good. I think only one race been canceled because of COVID, but it almost feels normal except all the PCR tests we need to do either for traveling or for racing. So there's a lot of those, but other than that, it really feels like we're back to a normal season.
You are based in Girona right now. You're no stranger to that city. You've used it as a European base before, but you're kind of based there semi-permanently because it's hard to travel back and forth across the Atlantic. What's it like living in Girona, and what's the cycling community like there?
It's a pretty cool town to be. It's really nice because we can train all winter here. The weather is pretty nice in the winter. It's pretty warm in the summer, but it's really easy to get in, get out of town for races. So that's why it's good to be here. Also, The riding is amazing. There's some climbs, there's some flats, so there's a bit of everything. And like, this is the place where I felt the safest on my bike too, because the car are really nice with cyclists. They're used to us. And just the town, I mean, I don't need a car here. I can just walk everywhere, which makes my life easier. I can go I get my groceries. There's a lot of coffee place, and there's a lot of riders from different countries also, like Americans, other Canadians are here, Australians. So if I want to ride with people, it's easy to find people to ride with, or I can go by myself too. It's nice to have the option to have other cyclist friends around. It makes my time here a bit less lonely. So yeah, it's a great town.
To me, Girona seems quite different from where you started cycling, your hometown of Amos, Quebec. It's 600 kilometers northwest of Montreal, but I know that town has a strong cycling scene. Can you tell us about it, especially the local club there?
Yeah, Le Club Cycliste d'Amos. Somehow there's a lot of good cyclists coming out of that club. It's really cool. I joined the club when I was 11. Yeah, it's just amazing. I remember they have bikes that you can just rent for the year. And I think it's a good way to start, because you don't want to buy all the gears when you're a kid. It's pretty expensive. But yeah, I don't know. We had training every day of the week, and you make friends. And I remember we had a time trial on a Tuesday night. Maybe they changed that. I don't know what they do anymore. But that's how I fell in love with biking. And then, there's a great community there for riding. But I have to say, I don't know how I did to ride there, because there's not a lot of roads. So it's funny that I really enjoyed it.
Right. I imagine there's only a few major roads and you either go one way or the other.
And then you look where the wind is coming from, and this is how you get out of town. If it's northeast, you go northeast, so you have a tailwind on the way back. So it's all, one road. One road. There's not really any loops there.
That club is more than 55 years old. Do you know how such a strong club got started in a pretty northern town?
No, I don't know. It's really interesting that cycling is so popular there. I don't know. Maybe le Tour de l'Adytibie has something to do with it.
Right, and that is the junior race that attracts many World Tour pros, or future World Tour pros, we'll say. But also there's the Tour de la Relève up there for both. I think that's for both boys and girls at young ages. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was actually my first Quebec race that I've done, because it used to be a Quebec Cup. So you go on different region during the summer. And then when I was PUE, my first race was Tour de la Relève in Val d'Or. And yeah, I think that was great.
Now, what did you like about racing at such a young age? What attracted you to competition?
Good question. I don't know. I think I was just good already. So I like that. I think that's why. I mean, I got a good result quite early when I was young, and then I just kept racing. I really like that.
Did good results early maybe frustrate you later? Because I know sometimes quick success then can, make you feel frustrated when you don't succeed later, which is eventually going to happen. Yeah,
but at that age, you're so young, so it was good. I mean, later, maybe when I turned senior, you have more it's a bit harder, but you're also older, so I don't know.
In recent years, the club that you're part of has offered a sport study program helping young riders to train and keep up with school. Was that something available to you back when you were young and racing and in school?
No, I didn't have that. It started once I finished high school, I think. So I think it started the year after. I was quite jealous. I thought that was really a good idea.
I was wondering because after you continued with your studies, as well as continuing to pursue a career as a cyclist, as a professional racer, you went to Gatineau, Quebec to study nursing. How were you able to balance study and cycling so well?
It wasn't always easy. I have to say, I was really, really focused to be a cyclist when I was a junior. And then I made the step to senior. And then I for me, it was more important to focus on my study at that point. So I went to school full time. But then, I don't know, like every year it was a bit less school and more cycling. And then, so I ended up doing my study part-time by the end, mostly skipping because I studied to be a nurse. So I had a lot of internships. So then I kind of pushed that later because you actually have to be there to do the internship. You cannot just, do it while you're away. So I was able to do both. I was quite lucky. It worked out well for me. Like when cycling was more important, I had less school, and then I was able to graduate by the end.
I believe you graduated in 2013. Since then, have you ever practiced nursing since earning your degree?
No. Then I was able to get a contract with like my dream team at the time was a Specialized Lululemon. So for me, it was like all in with cycling at that point.
Have you ever had to use what you learned in nursing school at a bike race?
No, thank God. No.
But you've been injured yourself a few times in bike races, from a broken pelvis, I think a broken clavicle. Did your medical training do anything for you, or did you just, like everyone else, have to wait for an ambulance or some medical attention to come to you?
Yeah, I was like everyone else. Yeah, it's cycling is a dangerous sport. It's the sad part of the sport. But I think I had all the injuries, like you said, the pelvis, the collarbone. I broke my neck also. I had concussion, but I survived.
One of your early results was placing 5th at the Junior World Championship road race in 2006. What was the significance of that result?
That was my second year junior. So I went to Worlds the year before in Austria. And then I think I finished like in 20-something position. And then I thought, next year I'm going to go back stronger. And then all year I was just focused on Worlds in 2006. And like all my season, every races I did, every training was for Worlds. So I remember being really, really focused. And it was in Belgium. And then I finished 5th, which I'm really happy, but I remember I could have been on the podium because I got stuck in like the sprint. But for me, it was like really a huge result. I was really, really happy.
After that success, I understand you struggled with cycling for a while. It was no longer fun. Why was that?
Yeah, I think it might be related to that result. It's like I worked so hard for it. And then like I put everything else aside just for that result. Like cycling was really important. So like I didn't have, I would say like a social life, like the kids at that point. And then I feel like after that result, I just needed like a break to do something else, go to school, have fun with my friends and like just like change it up. And then I think that's why, I just needed a break.
And then eventually you were ready to come back? The break was successful, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, you need the good people around you. Like for me, it really wasn't easy. Like I was still racing or cycling because that's what I used to do. Like I've done it since I was 11. So for me, it was like, you need to ride your bike. But I didn't have the fun anymore. And it was really, really a tough place for me to be. And then I think at that point, you need the right person around you. And I was lucky to have Eric van der Leyen that started coaching me. And he really put me back on the track at that point. And it made me realize, like helped me to have fun again at racing.
That's interesting that usually I think of coaching as I think of it more as discipline and maybe less fun. But it's interesting that he was able to help you discover the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I could have stopped cycling at that point, I remember. People like stopped believing in me and when you think about it now, it's stupid. But if it wasn't a fan, I don't think I would have made it in the sport.
Early in your career, you raced the World Cup in Montreal, as well as the Tour de Grand Montreal and the Tour de PEI. All of these women's races ended after 2009. In fact, you rode the final editions of each one of them. What did North American racing lose when those races stopped?
I think a lot. I mean, for me, it was a dream to do those races and race, like, at home with the best in the world. That was amazing. And it's so sad that they don't exist anymore. It was such a good way for Canadians to get into cycling, to be able to race against the best in the world. And now it just makes cycling harder for Canadians, I think.
The Grand Prix Cycliste de Gatineau has been part of the women's road calendar since 2010. And as we mentioned, the city of Gatineau is where you studied nursing and it's your Canadian home base. Do you consider the Grand Prix your local race?
Oh, yeah. I love it. It's so nice to race there. My family don't get to see me race anymore, so it's the best.
Which do you prefer, the Grand Prix road race or the Chrono de Gatineau time trial?
For sure, the time trial. I always like time trials, and they've been doing also the time trial in the Gatineau Park, where I train every day. So yeah, the time trial for sure.
You've been on the podium of the time trial, I think in all 4 of your time trial appearances. I guess a win would be like the icing on the cake if you could seal that someday, correct?
Yeah, that would be nice. That's all I'm missing, really.
Well, yeah, we're hoping that those races come back. They were struggling a bit in 2019, but they look like they're set to come back once racing opens up here.
I think there was a new organization coming, and I think they changed the name as well. Yeah, it should be great when they come back. I understand right now there's the pandemic, so it's better to stay safe. But yeah, they'll be back.
And we'll be back to hear more from Karol-Ann Canuel after a message from this episode's sponsor. On a ride, it can start with a twinge in the calf muscle. Then, after a few hard efforts, you can have a cramp that seizes you right up so you can't even pedal. Leg cramps often occur without warning. But what causes them? They can be caused by many factors, including dehydration, fatigue, and vitamin and/or mineral deficiencies. Leg cramps can also be a side effect of some prescription medications, but the exact cause of muscle cramps is not always known. What can you do about leg cramps? There are Highland's Leg Cramps tablets. They are a natural health product made with gentle active ingredients for strong relief of leg cramps and leg pain. Highland's Leg Cramps tablets can be taken when you start getting a muscle cramp to relieve pain. Each tablet dissolves quickly under your tongue and you don't need water. Highland's Leg Cramps are gentle on the stomach. To find out more about Highland's Leg Cramps, visit highlands.ca. And now, back to my conversation with Karol-Ann Canuel. In 2014, you and your Specialized Lululemon teammates won the team time trial competition at the World Championships. What's the significance of that win for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I remember that year I had a bit of a struggle because I broke my neck in the middle of the season. So I didn't know if I was able to come back for the end of the season, but then I did. But Specialized Lululemon the previous year won already the team time trial. So I knew they had a strong team already for the team time trial. So I wasn't thinking I would make it. But for me, it was important to learn how to do team time trials and learn from the best. And somehow I learned really quickly because they picked me to be part of the squad for Worlds. And that was the best experience of my life. We worked so hard to win that race. And then we did. And it was just amazing.
I want to talk more about the Triple T in a second, but you said you broke your neck. Now, you don't even seem to dwell on that too much, but that sounds super serious to me. Was it a vertebrae that you fractured?
Yeah, it was on C6 on the outside. So I was pretty lucky, really lucky, actually, really lucky.
You and your team won the Triple T again in 2015 and 2016. You were second in 2017 and 2018. Then the team time trial was cut from the World Championships. Do you miss that competition at the World Championship level?
Yeah, I really think it's something missing. I understand they made a new formula now, but I feel racing at the end of the year with your trade team is the best way to finish the season. And because you work all year together, racing together, and the team time trial is the only time you can be with the whole team on the podium and working like really together for one result. So for me, it's really something missing now.
Yeah, right. That's a good distinction because the Worlds is usually, it's by nation and you work with fellow Canadians, but the team time trial as it was done throughout those years was by your trade team. So with the people you raced with all year long. So that does make sense that you get to sort of cap off your year with your teammates.
Yeah, I think it was just a great way to end the season. And now we don't have that,
Thanks to the pandemic, if we can thank it for anything, but thanks to the pandemic, you've been the national road race champion since summer 2019. How do you feel about having the Maple Leaf jersey for such an extended period of time?
It's funny because I've been racing for a long time and I never got the road race title. And then I finally got it in 2019. And it's been just amazing to wear the Maple Leaf like in Europe in racing. I know it's longer than normal, but with the pandemic, I didn't race as much last year. So for me, it just makes sense to have it a bit longer.
Yeah, that makes sense. It all sort of balances out with the racing being closed down for so long.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I see it. I still like every day I wear it and I'm still like, I'm not used to it. It's just, it's still an honor to wear it.
Amazing, because this also isn't your first, it's your first national road race champions jersey, but you took the national time trial championship in 2015 and 2017. I guess there's more chances to wear it on the road than there are to wear it in time trials.
Yeah, it's really too bad. I feel like that's what's missing in the women calendar. There's not a lot of time trial at all. You have like worlds and then your nationals, but that's about it. Because you still have to train a lot on your time trial bikes. So I think it's a bit of a shame that we don't have more time trials. But yeah, now I can finally ride with my my jersey all the time.
The Olympics were a dream goal of yours when you were young. Then, in 2016, you went to the Rio Olympics. What was it like to achieve that dream?
It's so cool. You always watch it on TV and then you finally get to go and see the other side. Yeah, it's a great experience and I'm excited to go again this summer.
I was going to ask you about that because you are heading to the Tokyo Olympics. That was announced last summer in 2020 for the road cyclists and the track cyclists were named. How did it feel to get selected a second time?
It's always a dream come true. I'm happy to be like one of the cyclists that they picked to represent Canada on the road race and the time trial. It's an honor, and then I hope I can do well.
Your teammate on the road at Tokyo will be Leah Kirchmann, who was also at Rio. What are some lessons from Rio that you two might bring to Tokyo?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like it's going to help us to do better in a way because it's really a different race than normal. Like the peloton is a bit smaller because, this is the way it is at the Olympics. Like you have X many spots. So it's like a small bunch. And also every country is limited to a certain amount of racer. So I think it's really a different type of racing. And I think we can use the experience from last time for this time.
What's your Olympic preparation look like?
I've been at altitude already in March, start of April. So that was the first preparation I've done. And then I've done a good block of racing now, and then I'm going to go back to altitude tomorrow, actually. So for the next 3-4 weeks. I'm working a lot on climbing. I'm working a lot on my time trial bike. Everything is focused for Tokyo.
Yeah, we should mention that we're speaking at close to the end of May. So when this podcast comes out, I think you might be finishing your altitude training. Is the Giro Rosa on your schedule?
It's not for the moment. I'm still looking at what would fit best for me. We'll see. It's not sure yet. For now, it's not on my schedule.
As we speak, there are polls in Japan that show 60 to 83% of the people don't want the games. They want the Olympic Games to be canceled because of the country's struggles with the coronavirus. Can you tell me how you feel about that? Because I know the games are important to you, but the host nation doesn't really want athletes arriving and competing right now.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's totally understandable. But for me, I need to prepare as the games are happening. So I need to focus on that. I don't focus if they decide to cancel them or move them or whatever. I'm pretty confident they're going to happen and they're going to make sure that it's safe. I mean, that's all we can hope for.
Is professional women's cycling healthier or stronger now than compared with when you started racing?
Yeah, I think it's way more stronger. You're right with that. I think it's really more professional. There's more teams that are professional, and the girls now they do it more and more full time, and you can see the difference in the bunch. I think the races are harder than before when I started, for sure.
What's a cycling skill that you are working on right now?
A skill?
Yeah. You've been racing for many years. You are a very accomplished cyclist, but are there any areas where you're looking to improve?
Yeah, well, I broke my collarbone 2 years ago, and it happens I was on a descent and I turned and then I fell and I don't know what happened. And to me, it's still a mystery. So I always had this fear since then that when I go downhill, I always have a little bit of fear. So I think I'm working on that, on descending and trusting my bike. For me, it's still a struggle for 2 years now.
Who are some of the Canadian riders that we should look out for in the upcoming years?
Well, I just raced in northern Spain, so Vuelta Burgos, and I saw Olivia Barret. She strong, and I think she's going to be the next to look at.
What are your plans after the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm planning. It's not clear yet, but I'm 90% sure I'm going to retire from the sport after this year. Time to move on.
Wow, I did not expect that. I was going to ask, will you be racing in 2022? But I guess you don't think so right now.
I think this year with the Olympics, it's a good year to stop. I'm 33 years old now, so I think I've been doing this forever. For me, it's time to move on to do something else with my life. I still love cycling. I like a bit less the injury that comes sometimes. I'm kind of, tired of that. But I still love cycling. But I think for me, it's time to do something else.
Do you know what that something else might be?
No, not yet. I'm still trying to figure it out. And it's a bit scary. But I know it's the right call. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Karol-Ann, for your time. I just want to say, good luck with all the races. Good luck at Tokyo. When that happens, it'll probably happen. And good luck with your new uncertain future endeavors.
Thank you.
And that's the episode. It's written and edited by me, Matthew Pioro. I had help from web editors Terry McCall and Lily Hanson-Gillis. The Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast is produced by Adam Killick. He composed the music too. Thanks to Ontario Creates for its support. And thank you for listening. Please rate and review the show, ride safely, and I'll talk to you later.